We're going to move on to the next new addition. I like this one. I want to shake up the room a little bit because this quarterback is known to shake up the room a little bit. The Carolina Panthers went and made some kind of home run swing, whatever swing it was, and traded for Baker Mayfield to get him out of Cleveland, to get him a new situation, and to go and, I guess, compete for a job with Sam Darnold over down there in Carolina. Let Robbie Anderson tell it, and they're not happy about it. But it's a new opportunity for Baker as he now enters training camp for Carolina. Everyone's going to be monitoring that situation. I definitely am, because I don't think he goes in definitely there as the starter. I think Sam Darnold still has it in his mind that I'm the starter or competing for this job. So I'm interested to hear what your guys' take on that, because they didn't give up much for him, a conditional fifth. So it's not like you give up a haul. It's not like you spent much on him. He's just a fresh face in the quarterback room. So, like, Jake, does he go in starter, competition, backup? What's Baker's role here?
Oh, man. I would love to say, oh, they just traded for him. Of course he's going to be the starter, but
traded a bag of peanuts.
Not only did they trade a bag of peanuts, they did the same. They traded a similar bag of peanuts for Sam Darnold. So ultimately, I think it'll be a full-fledged competition. Like, if truly, I don't know which of those two are better. I have no clue.
Oh, I know. That's easy. It's clearly Baker. Darnold's horrible.
Baker ain't that much above horrible.
Baker is like slightly below average if you just accumulate everything. But Baker's worst year is like Darnold's best. It's like
But Baker had a lot more to work with, and his not great, but had a lot more to work with than Sam Darnold ever had to work with. I mean, coaching turnover, he got really, really sick one year. He probably shouldn't have been starting when he came in right away, just due to how much dysfunction there was with the Jets. I believe in 2 years, he never had a wide receiver play consecutively like 4 or 5 weeks because of injury and suspension and saying whatever is going on. Like, it was never steady for Sam Darnold. Yeah. And then goes to Carolina, and after 3 weeks loses the best weapon on his offense. Like, it's just never been
last 2 seasons. He has 18 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. That's some 1970s stats right there.
Right, but did you hear all the context? Like, put a lot of people in that situation. Put a lot of people in the Jets organization. Adam Gase.
Think of how bad Carson Wentz was in 2020. He still threw 4 more touchdowns than interceptions. It's hard to be that below the TD interception ratio line.
I agree.
Darnold is laughably horrible. Baker Mayfield's just like the 22nd best quarterback.
And there's only 32 of them starting in the league. Like, so he's not. So
Darnold's probably like, if I'm ranking all the quarterbacks, he's probably like 52.
Oh, he's under some backups. That's
incredible.
Would you take Minshew or Sam Darnold? I'd take Minshew without even thinking.
I think about it a little bit.
I think the point is that Sam Darnold is a very much unproven commodity. And it's funny that it's his 4th or 5th year in the league. What was he, 2018? So 18, 19, 20, 20. 4th year in the league. And we still don't really know what to think about him. So to say that Baker Mayfield, who...
They were in the same draft.
I'm looking at the draft right now. Mayfield, Saquon, Sam Darnold. What a terrible run out. And Saquon, I mean, we've talked about Saquon.
No, that's a good pick by the Browns. I don't care. You've never won a playoff game. Drafting Baker won you a playoff game.
They also drafted Denzel Ward, the cornerback.
Is it Josh Rosen in that?
Josh Rosen was 10th. There's 3 really good players. Quentin Nelson, Josh Allen, Roquan Smith went 6, 7, 8. Bradley Chubb, you could throw in there at 5 too. Is pretty good. But
after Saquon, Quentin Nelson, the best draft of everyone you named right there
by far. But back to what we were talking about. I really do think that, and it's just Matt Rule from his time at Temple loves to spur competition, even if there is a guy who theoretically is better than another one. Leaving the door open, I think, gets the most out of your players, or at least that's the idea. So. Sure, Baker's probably brought in here to be the starter. If Sam Darnold starts week 1, I would not be surprised at all. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Okay, so Matt, if Baker's so light years ahead of Sam Darnold, what does Baker Mayfield bring to Carolina that Sam Darnold was unable to bring to Carolina? But give it to me that way.
he's a competent NFL quarterback. It's really that simple. He's not this. OBJ's dad made this video and it showed a bunch of really bad decisions by Baker Mayfield, and then everyone decided Baker Mayfield was like the worst quarterback to ever play in the NFL. It was
But
like
they were
really
ready to think that before that video. I think the video was just confirmation.
well, people are predisposed to hate Baker because Baker has a punchable face. That's not an indictment on Baker Mayfield at all. He just has a punchable face. And I just like Baker in the beginning, but he was on too many commercials too early, whatever. But he won a playoff game for the Cleveland Browns. That's an incredible achievement. Some good
historic.
Like Jeff Garcia couldn't do that. Like some like decent quarterbacks that went through the Browns weren't able to do that.
But the Browns had a really good team. Like they were really a good team. That is why they did that. And in lieu of Baker,
OBJ was hurt that year, so Baker didn't miss him. Which helped. No, they had a good team, and they had a good team last year, and Baker hurt them. He went on the road and won in Pittsburgh. Like that's a very good accomplishment, and he gave them a lot of hope his rookie year. They were the worst. He was the number 1 overall pick. He leads them. He has a winning record his rookie year. He takes over for Tyrod Taylor, and he has like a really good rookie year. He either wins rookie of the year or comes like second, and like they almost finish over 500. They go like 7-8-1, and then he's just a really up and down quarterback. But if he gets his confidence and swag back, there's no reason I don't think he can be a replacement level starting quarterback.
I mean, okay, so to your point, up and down year, I'm gonna use your stats. I'm gonna use your language here. Rookie year, 14th in DVOA. 2019, 25th in DVOA. 2020, come back, go to the playoffs, 10th in DVOA. Last year, rock bottom, 26th in DVOA. So like we're up and down, but to this point, like that's not what Carolina needs. Like if you're gonna bring inconsistency, we could have kept that conditional 5th.
Carolina's quarterbacks had a 68 passer rating last year.
Yeah, that's just. That's just really rough. Any way you square it, that's just really rough.
Baker had an 83 passer rating last year, and he stunk. Like
right.
it's hard to
again, I think the quality of the.
Go ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna say the quality of the team really does matter because Sam Darnold was out there without Christian McCaffrey. It was him and Robbie Anderson slinging the thing around. I mean, like it's just like
a little bit of DJ Moore.
There are levels to the context, I think. And ultimately, whether it's Baker, I think if Baker ends up winning the starting job there and he gets stuck into that offense and you have DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and McCaffrey to kind of keep him entertained, like he can probably manage some. I would imagine if you tell me Baker's going to play every game this year for the Panthers, I say they go like 9-8, 9-8, 8-9, something like that, because they're going to have a decently easy record. And they have, assume obviously health plays into it a ton too, but and their conference and their division, I should say, is tough. But they've got a really good defense and they've got some weapons on offense, so like he can manage them there.
Here's where I'm coming from with it. I agree with you, Matt. I don't think Baker is that bad of a quarterback. I think he's bottom level of the mid-tier quarterback. So you're right, slightly below average, but doesn't move the ball for me. I was listening to Robbie Anderson on I Am Athlete, not to plug another podcast, but listening just to his testimony of Sam Darnold. And he said when Cam Newton came in, when Sam Darnold got hurt, like Cam Newton didn't play the best in the world. For 2 weeks, he looked like he was a good quarterback again, but he breathed new life and confidence into us. He was like, Cam came in as such a breath of fresh air, a professional, a guy who's done something and just gave us a new perspective and a new life and something to like rally around, something to believe in. So now Cam is gone. You go back to Sam Darnold, who people don't believe in. If you're going to bring another quarterback into that, bring a quarterback that we believe in. Do you believe in Baker Mayfield? If you were an NFL player, NFL wide receiver, after watching that debacle, would you believe in Baker Mayfield? Would he come into this locker room, to this organization, and make us believe in more in the guy that we're leaving? Because if not, then I don't see the upside. I don't see the addition. He's just a new face. But like Baker doesn't.
You have a former number 1 overall pick who's shown he can play well. and you get him for cheap. You're only paying him $4 million. You take a risk.
But
that's
I think
the GM. That's from
right.
the GM standpoint. That's front office standpoint. I'm talking about player standpoint. A guy that like, is he going to elevate our team? For the GM, yeah, that's a no brainer.
I've never been in an NFL locker room throughout a season. I have no clue, but I can't imagine it differs too much from a regular workplace where like QB also I think is elevated. Like teammates, I think look to the quarterback as like a leader, or at least as someone who is put on a higher pedestal than the rest of the players. I think that is just a positional thing, the starting quarterback. Right. And, I can have all these preconceived notions of Baker. I can see what Baker has done in past places. But if he comes in and works his butt off and has a great attitude and has swagger that people can buy into, like, sure, why not? Like, maybe you won't end up being the best team. But the best teams, first and foremost, have to believe they can be one of the best teams in the league, right? So that starts with the belief in who you have in the building. Apparently, from what you're saying, that wasn't evident. I didn't hear that interview, but sounds poignant to what we're talking about. Like, clearly they did not believe in Sam Darnold. Maybe that kind of swagger, that guy who's been there, could be Baker, and then you build from there. What
I'm doing is I'm taking Robbie Anderson's testimony and personally putting me in that space. So I hear what you're saying. I get the mindset. Now I'm imagining, man, I have no professional athlete mindset, but if I'm thinking of an athlete's mindset from what Robbie Anderson just explained, like Cam brings that. Cam Newton, just his presence brings that. Does Baker's presence bring that, or does he just bring a punchable face? Like, does he just annoy me? Like, does he bring that belief in me when he says in the huddle, like, "Yo, we're about to go and score a touchdown and take the lead"? Do I believe him? Do I go like, "Yeah, I'm ready to run with you"? Like, does that? Because if not, like, he's not doing anything more than what Sam Darnold was bringing. He's not bringing anything, unless his play is that much better. Which last year I didn't see his play be that much better.
I don't know. He is a little bit of somewhat of a leader in the sense that, like, he's the guy who gets under the other team's skin, and you hate that person when they're against you, and you love that person when they're on your team. Like, him planting the flag in the middle of the field when they played
Ohio State.
Yes, Ohio State.
But that was Baker as a Heisman Trophy winner. Now, if Baker out there and winning Pro Bowls and MVPs, you can plant whatever you want, wherever you want. But that's not what he's doing. Like, you gotta back all that up with play.
Look, there's one out of however many players gets to be a Heisman per year, right? There's 32 out of however many players in the NFL who get to be a starting quarterback. So while it is not the same banner that you hold, I don't know, man. If you're a starting quarterback and you are as energetic and kind of spunky as Baker Mayfield is, maybe he can get the ball across. I don't know.
Baker's a confident guy. When his team's winning, his team likes him because he's confident and they're winning. And then when they're losing and he's still confident and he's not playing well, the teammates don't like him because he's the reason they're losing. So it's a double-edged sword.
And you're right. And that confidence, and we can move on after I make this point, that confidence is great when, even as the team around him, that I'm confident in my ability to carry out his confidence. So, for example, in high school basketball, Jake, you'll remember this name. We had a kid, my guy, Ian Harrigan, was our point guard when I was a junior. I was his backup. So we go and play Academy Park, inner city school in Philly. And it's a really tough game. We're hanging with them. And then Ian gets in a little tussle with their center. Big 6'5", 6'6", built dude. Starts screaming at him. And then, they get broken up and everything. And so we're going in the locker room, and Ian's like, yo, kind of throws his hands up. And he's like, why was I out there by myself? And one of our players is like, yo, you got to pick a battle we can win. Like, if you barking at what you want me to jump in there and get hurt too? Two black guys not gonna get us home. We want to get hurt too. So if you're Baker and you win the starting job and you're out there jawing with the defensive line, make sure your line can block who you're jawing. Make sure your receivers can beat who you're jawing.
Make them in trouble.
Make sure you can beat who you're jawing to. Remember, you're on the Panthers now. Remember, you're on a bottom tier team now. You gotta maybe it's time to just rein it in and humble yourself a little bit. All that planting the flag stuff will get you hurt in Tampa.
Right,
When
that's
he's hurt
behind
in
him.
New Orleans,
Way behind him at this point, but
it better be. But I hear what you guys were saying. I'm kind of just playing devil's advocate, but I do hear what you're saying, and maybe Baker can be that fresh face